Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Katherine Kelly, and as you know, I'm a holistic health psychologist, but I also do soul healing work. Now, I don't see personally how we can separate the two because the psyche and the soul are so interconnected, and our experience of the human condition is really about our soul's evolution. And I want to give you a metaphor that is really helpful in understanding why we either can't move on or why we have these, I call them snags, why we have these snags in being able to get past certain things. But I want to give you a metaphor that I think is going to really help you understand all of this. Now, I traveled to Peru. I've been there 3 times. I've been waiting to go back. COVID really kind of threw a wrench in that, and I'm still waiting for myself to feel the call to go back. I know that it's coming soon, but I'm going to show you a Peruvian tapestry. Now, Peru is known for their tapestries and their textiles and their weavings of rugs and clothing and all kinds of different wonderful tapestries. And so I want to show this to you because this is just one of the many that I have, but I want to show this as an example so that you get a little feel for what I'm about to talk about. So I talk about weaving the tapestry of our life. So if you can imagine that everything prior to this lifetime, your tapestry has been woven according to who you are, the events in your lives, the experiences you've had, the traumatic experiences you've had, the ancestral healing situations, really any part of our history, whether it's human history or soul history, that is part of our soul path. And so when we start this lifetime, we start that tapestry where we left off in previous lifetimes. And so we already have this weaving, we have these life paths, we have this process that we have to go to in order to enhance, learn from, grow from, shift, change our evolution so that basically we can get where we're supposed to be. So it's that whole idea of when we come across a snag, when we come across something that is really not working for us, or we have a huge like trigger or something that comes to us that it's going to throw us off, we have to stop long enough to assess our tapestry of life to figure out what is this about? What am I supposed to be learning? Is this a situation or a person I need to get out of my life, or is it something that I need to learn and grow from so that I can integrate it more deeply into my life? So just as this tapestry, at face value, it looks beautiful and wonderful, but then when you start to look closely, you have snags. There's a snag right here. There's part of the tapestry that is not quite woven in there. There's part of it that needs some work. Now, you don't want to just snip it off because you will ruin the tapestry. And I look at this and, there's little ones here. You could see that one. You could see these different snags in here. And so, metaphorically, what I want to have you really think about is in order to fix life, and this human condition is very complicated and very layered. And I have a new model that's going to be coming out that you're going to see how complicated and layered it is, both from the human side and the soul side. And I'm going to be sharing more and more about that very, very soon. And we have a few final tweaks we need to make to it. But this tapestry idea really helps you kind of have a tangible idea of, wow, okay, I am reweaving my life with every decision I make, with my own conscious evolution moving forward. And when I say conscious evolution, I mean staying mindful and conscious as you move through life to the point where you know if there's something that needs to be fixed or something that needs to be shifted. And it's just like someone who is weaving a pattern like this. Is they're going about life, and then they hit a snag and they realize, wow, something's not going right, either with that thread or that yarn or whatever. And so they have to go back and they have to fix it. If you've ever watched a master weaver, it is really incredible because, again, it's a mindful technique. It's sort of like a meditative technique. But then the second they hit a snag, they know they have to jump in right away to fix it, or else it's going to ruin the pattern. And so it's really this really beautiful and cool process to watch. But the difference is they know when they need to stop. They know when they need to do something different. Now, the snags that are in this, there's one right here that is interesting. And it's a snag that, again, I just, pulled off a part of it. But it's interesting when you see it because some of these tapestries probably were this snag in particular. This may or may not have been caught in the process of this person, whoever made this. It might have been that it happened in packing it in my suitcase. It could have been anything. The whole metaphor about this, though, is when we hit a snag in life, we have to stop, we have to be present, we have to take a look at it to decide, is this something I need to remove? Is this something I need to pull out of my fabric? And I talk about this with clients all the time, that basically when we learn about something, it's almost like we have to take that little string. If we decide it's not something that needs to stay in our life, we have to take that little string and gently pull it out, and learn about ourselves as we pull that out, so that basically we pull it out. We don't ruin the whole tapestry, but we can remove something that does not fit in the tapestry of our life. And then we have to reweave the fabric to tighten it up. And then we go on to the next snag and the next snag. Now, oftentimes there is a life lesson that is woven throughout our life's tapestry that we keep hitting as if it's a snag. So it could be a confidence issue. It could be a fear of being alone. It could be a fear of speaking in front of people. It could be that there are relationship issues. It could be any kind of snag that we hit, or any kind of theme that is throughout our life. And that's really one of our life paths. That's one of, in the soul world, we talk about that as a soul lesson or a life lesson. And we all have them. We all have multiple life lessons, but there's usually one or two themes that we tend to trip up on throughout our life, because that's the significant part of our soul's evolution, to learn how to tackle that particular lesson and learn how to pull it out. In other words, if it's a way we think about life, it's a way we think about ourselves, it could be anything. And that's why sometimes those cords or threads or ropes even can feel so big, because sometimes they are big lessons that we're supposed to learn as part of our soul's evolution. Now, being a psychologist, I have clients that I've worked with for 15, 17 years. I've been here 23 years, and there's one client I've worked with almost the entire time I've been here, off and on. And it's because there's new life lessons that come up, or we do some work and they feel fine and they go off on their own, and then they come back because, oh, there's that snag again, or something else snagged them. And it's that whole idea of reweaving the tapestry of your life so that it is as rich and tight and beautiful as it can be, all the while knowing that, we're going to have some blemishes along the way. That's the human condition. That is part of how this life thing works. But in the end, when you think about it, if we are conscious about it, no matter how many snags or threads that may not seem like they fit, it still turns out to be actually quite beautiful. And so, Peruvians, what's interesting about Peruvians is that they tend to, and I'm going to flip this so you can see it, they tend to weave obviously little different patterns in here. Sometimes the letters that they weave in here have a meaning to them. And so it's just like the evolution of life, is that we can look at different chapters of our life and look at that tapestry and say, oh, wow, that was that chapter. So, for instance, I just loved when I was looking at buying this, I just loved these little spirals in here. And so you can all look at the meaning behind that weaving and think, wow, that was a chapter in my life when things were really working or swirling or evolving. You could, whatever meaning you have for that particular image of your lifetime. But the tapestry of your life is it's a wonderful metaphor to think about in terms of, wow, there's just a snag I need to get through, or there's a cord I need to learn how to continue weaving it out and removing it from my fabric so that it's not taking over anymore. And that is really why I talk about evolution, is that it's a process. It is a very big process. I have a client I spoke with this morning. I've worked with him for about 12 years, and I brought up the idea of evolution again because he's in such a different place, and it's so beautiful to watch where he is, and he's making such more conscious decisions. And I'm really doing coaching with him now. I'm really not doing therapy with him. And so I was talking to him about his life path, and he said, I remember some metaphor a long time ago about like a an ocean cruiser, an ocean liner that, you can't really get through therapy and you can't get through life change very quickly because that ocean liner is going to take a long time to slow down and stop, let alone turn around or shift gears or whatever. And so it's another really wonderful metaphor for how life works is, and I tell people you can't rush evolution and you can't slow it down. And the other thing I say to people is that, evolution never happens as fast as we would like it to, and it never happens in a straight line. So this human condition throws snags at us all the time. But basically, our soul's evolution is here all about our consciousness, all about what we are willing to make of our lives, what are we willing to make up the wounds that we have, the snags in our life, and how we reweave our patterns. We reweave that tapestry so that it is back to feeling cohesive and feeling beautiful and really being in that place where we want it to be. So it's just another metaphor that I like to provide people because it's a very powerful one when you know that you are the weaver, you are the artful creator of your life. And it's all about what you do with your wounds. It's all about what you do with your successes, with your achievements, as well as everything that doesn't feel like it is a success. So just another pattern for self-care, uh, Soul Wisdom Wednesday, this whole metaphor thing. I've got metaphors for everything. So it's just another metaphor for you to really spend some time thinking about, wow, what am I reweaving in my life? And what would I like to say that I, have woven by the end of this lifetime? So soul evolution, human healing, and basically how we get from one place to another all has to do with what we do with it. So just something else to think about. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll be back soon. Take care.